Have you ever watched someone ride the highest waves of fame, then tumble so far you can't imagine how they'll ever swim back up? That's the question hanging over Sean Diddy Combs as he prepares to face a federal jury this May. On one side sits a music mogul whose white parties once defined ultra-exclusive glamour. On the other, prosecutors accusing him of running a 2-decade criminal enterprise. So, how did Puff Daddy become a defendant? Let's dive into the twists, the evidence, and the courtroom showdown that's about to expose it all. When news broke that R&B singer Cassie Ventura had filed a lawsuit against Combs for abusive behavior, hardly anyone predicted it would trigger a flood of federal charges. But that's exactly what happened. Cassie described a relationship where control felt more like cruelty, settling her claims within days. That lightning-fast resolution didn't erase the accusations. It opened the door. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan suddenly had a window into Combs's private world, spotting patterns they say amount to racketeering and sexual exploitation. And once Cassie spoke up, 6 more accusers followed, each adding their voice to a chorus of alleged misconduct. By the time prosecutors drafted the indictment, they weren't focused on a single incident, but on 20 years' worth of alleged crimes under the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, better known as RICO. This isn't your typical music industry dispute. It's a sweeping claim that Combs orchestrated a criminal enterprise involving sex trafficking and prostitution. Imagine charging a global superstar with orchestrating secret freak-offs, private events allegedly complete with baby oil stations, cleanup crews, and even IV drips to help participants recover. These sensational details transformed headlines into courtroom exhibits, and they've stunned even seasoned legal analysts. The build-up to trial spilled far beyond press releases. Homeland Security agents, warrant in hand, stormed Combs's estates in Los Angeles and Miami, cartons of electronic devices seized under bright lights, phones, tablets, hard drives. Every device was a potential smoking gun. Prosecutors believe Combs routinely filmed himself and others in these clandestine gatherings, and they plan to play dozens of these videos for jurors. Imagine jurors, many of whom have never seen anything like this, watching evidence captured on the mogul's own camera. It's one thing to read dramatic allegations. It's another to watch them unfold in real time. Meanwhile, the man at the center of it all has swapped VIP treatment for a federal lockup. Since his arrest at a Manhattan hotel, Combs has been confined to Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, an infamous facility known more for its grim corridors than any celebrity glitz. He's in a special unit. Rumor has it that crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried was once his cellmate. Yet even that privilege feels a far cry from private jets and sold-out arenas. Behind those beige walls, every morning is a far cry from champagne flutes and red carpets. Come May 5th, the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan will transform into a stage for one of the year's most anticipated trials. Hundreds of prospective jurors will answer up to 70 questions each, pledging to be fair despite Diddy's household name. Cameras aren't welcome in federal court, so TV screens will show blank walls while reporters scramble for every dramatic flourish, every raised eyebrow, every hushed sidebar. Jury selection alone could take days, with lawyers probing for biases. Have you ever attended one of his concerts? Do you follow his social media? Can you separate the artist from the man accused of crimes? Stakes this high mean no detail is too small. Prosecutors will argue that power-enabled exploitation. They'll detail a pattern. Combs lured young hopefuls into his world, then allegedly used threats, sometimes violence, to force participation. Witnesses will describe secret signals, whispered warnings, and moments when doors slammed shut until participants obeyed. They'll paint a portrait of a man who turned private parties into traps, using fame as bait. And those video clips? Prosecutors promise they'll deliver an unfiltered look at freak-offs that jurors won't soon forget. But Combs's defense team has crafted a counter-narrative. This was adult, consensual activity misconstrued as criminal. They'll insist the tapes show willing participants enjoying private moments, nothing more. What if those gatherings were exactly what they appeared to be? Exclusive, boundary-pushing parties for adults who chose to attend. The defense will call character witnesses, emphasize Combs's philanthropy and industry contributions, and argue that prosecutors are criminalizing sexuality under the guise of sensational headlines. Central to both sides is Cassie Ventura. She'll be first on the stand, recounting a 2016 hotel hallway video where Combs drags her, an image that went viral on CNN. In a tearful retelling, she'll describe fear and humiliation, then the relief that came with walking away. Her testimony will serve as a roadmap for jurors, showing how private relationships can turn dark. Following her, 3 more accusers will testify under pseudonyms, their identities hidden, but their voices clear. Each will share a slice of the mosaic that prosecutors say proves a pattern of abuse. As the trial unfolds, every gesture, every smirk, every nod will be magnified. We've seen it before with high-profile defendants in that courthouse, from Jeffrey Epstein's network to Senator Bob Menendez's bribery allegations. Now, Combs steps into the same spotlight. Observers will watch not only the evidence, but how he reacts. Does he appear remorseful, defiant, detached? Body language experts will weigh in. Social media will buzz with hot takes. In a world where public perception often shapes outcomes as much as legal arguments, Combs's courtroom demeanor could influence jurors and audiences alike. Beyond the legal theatrics lies a deeper question. Can celebrity shield anyone from accountability? Combs built an empire on beats and bravado, on collaborations with icons like Mary J. Blige and Mariah Carey. He shaped an era of hip-hop and R&B, created clothing lines, started a television network. Yet federal law treats him the same as any other defendant. No VIP privileges, no presidential pardon waiting in the wings. In the hush of that courtroom, jurors will grapple with whether wealth and fame place someone above the law, or if, as prosecutors insist, they demand even higher scrutiny. When closing arguments begin, lawyers on both sides will race to connect dots. Prosecutors will call for justice, urging jurors to see beyond the limelight to the alleged victims whose lives, they say, Combs upended. The defense will counter with warnings about slippery slopes, criminalizing consensual adult behavior, and allowing one sensational story to overshadow the presumption of innocence. Then, the jury will retreat, doors locking behind them, until they arrive with a verdict that could end one legacy or cement a narrative of vindication. Whatever the outcome, this trial will leave a mark. For Combs, it could mean decades in prison or an acquittal that reinvigorates his brand. For the legal system, it's a test of how RICO and trafficking statutes apply to cultural icons. And for viewers, it's a reminder that behind every headline lurks complexity. Fame can promise power, but it can't guarantee immunity. So, what do you think? Will the jury see Diddy as a predator hiding behind platinum records, or as a superstar ensnared by sensational claims? Drop your thoughts below, and let's talk it out. If you're fascinated by this saga, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss our daily updates, insider analysis, and expert interviews as this blockbuster trial unfolds. Because when the gavel falls, you'll want to hear every detail from us, straight from the courthouse steps. If you found this deep dive eye-opening, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any updates. And drop your verdict in the comments below. Was Diddy vindicated, or will he face the music?